Alright, I'm going to show my friends how I rip DVDs, my settings, so they won't keep asking me over and over again how to do this. So, you know who you are, so grab a chair and sit down. I'm going to go as quick as I can. And start Handbrake. Boom. You haven't got Handbrake yet, even though I told you about it and gave you the decryptor. There it is, handbrake.fr, get it for your system. I'm not talking about the decryptor no more. Ask me at work. Boom. Alright, open Handbrake. You go to source, you put the DVD in the drive, it will show up here, the name of the drive, click it. I already have it loaded up, saving some time. Here it is. First thing I go to is container. I make sure it's MP4. I leave all these three unchecked. You can read here as I'm talking a little bit more, but that has to do with big files over 4 gigs. This has to do with uploading videos to streaming websites and making stream and buff faster, so there's no like pausing. That Apple stuff, I don't own Apple. Alright, size. I want to quickly talk about the file sizes real quick. For those of you who are mamas and starting to go back to school and got brand new laptops and don't got a lot of storage space and don't have Microsoft Office installed on your laptop and you're trying to get someone else to use their key and pay them 40 bucks, you're probably concerned about file space. So I would keep this like it is now, knock this down to 700, lose 2, blah, 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 blah. Like that, I'll skip over to the filters, change that to default, change that one to default, and I would hit start after you go to browse and pick where you want to save your file. You click where you want to save it, you name the file, and then hit start, boom, it starts your burn. But those of you with desktops, like you can leave that 720. This is how I do it. Well, 720, I go strict. And strict means, just like it says, it's strict. It takes these frames and keeps them as strict to their specs as it can. Loose gives it freeway. Those are the settings. If you want to do loose, you can do 16, you can do 2. It's loose, like it says, you have a little bit more flexibility. These numbers just means how much these numbers jump by. And when you lock the aspect ratio, which loose is, you can't just the height. The height will be determined based on the width. But strict. Boom. Cropping, boom, automatic. Let the Handbrake figure it out by itself. Filters. Filters tab. Here we go. I already changed them. I like to leave it at default to deal with how movies are filmed and how movies are put onto DVD. They're filmed at 24 frames and they are on movies at 30 frames. I don't know why, but I do default to deal with that. This way I'm playing on my LCD screen, not to worry about ghosting or horizontal tearing or none of that stuff. Videos, video tab. Do that at that codec, the H.264. That's like one of the best codes you can use right now. The same ones that use for Blu-ray DVDs are encoded that same format. Any high-def camcorder on the market tend to use this format. Not all, but a lot of them do. Optimize video, yes, you want to optimize it. Check. Quality for standard DVDs is default 20. That's good. It leaves a good picture. Or sometimes I like to knock it down to 18. There's not much difference in 18 and 20, a slight difference in the quality. Most people don't even realize it, and I usually don't even realize it. But between 18 and 20 would be good for your DVD. And the smaller number you go, like say 1, 2, that means it's a higher quality and your file size is going to be bigger. If you change it to 51, it's going to be horrible quality, but it's going to be a small file size. And change this all the way to 1, making that lossless, that means no quality is lost. Doesn't change your standard definition DVD into a high-def DVD. It can't do that. So 18, 19, or 20 doesn't matter. It depends on your preference. Or burn one at 18, burn one at 20, and then put them up side by side. You can check them out yourself. But I like to do 18. Just makes me sleep better at night. Alright, next one, audio tab. Let me scroll down. Most DVDs are encoded with the AC3 format. And by default, Handbrake will try to pick the AC3, at least one, and display it just like this. There's nothing wrong with the setting, but I don't like it because most of the time I'm just watching on my TV, on my phone, or you watch on a laptop or tablet. And AC3 is good. Sometimes you need some other ones. You want to leave that that's cool. Bitrate 160, that's cool too. Sample rate, auto. This, I have a problem with Dolby Pro Logic 2. It will play fine on stereo devices, like laptops and desktops, with headphones or whatever, and it also plays over surround sound systems. But this lacks the subwoofer channel. Pro Logic 2 is a 5.0 system, and not the typical 5.1 surround sound system. It doesn't have that dedicated subwoofer. So I like to change the stereo, and it stays on the file size a little bit, in your concern. And I like to add a second one. But for the code, I choose AC3 pass-through. And just like it says, it takes the AC3 file, the audio file, and just pass through untouched. And you keep that original audio in there. And whenever I play it through my surround sound, I just go and change my audio source to this track, to this audio track, and it pumps through my 5.1 system, subwoofer, and everything. So that's nice. What's next? Subtitles. Oh yeah, and quick about this. This movie only has one English audio track, but sometimes other movies might have a Spanish or French, or I don't know, something else, and it will just show up here in a drop down. Just click it. Wherever you want, you can add as many as you want. Just click add, and keep adding. Okay. Take my way just by hitting the X. Next one is subtitles. By default, it doesn't add any subtitles for you. And if you're concerned about file size, I wouldn't add it because this all gets added into your MP4 file. But me, I like subtitles. I like to watch subtitles while I watch movies. Here, it gives me 3 subtitles. You can add none, you can add 1, you can add all of them. It's up to you. I like to add all of them. Actually, no, I don't. But just for this purpose, I'm going to show you all 3 of them. As you can see, there's 2 English files. Okay. There's 2 English files. The first one is typically just the subtitles. The second one tends to be closed caption, so there's 2 of them. And usually they tell you closed caption on there, but it depends all on where it makes the movie. This person did it. Probably too distracted looking at a Pegasus. Anyways, on to chapters. Oh, nice, right there. Short. Chapters, boom, you can turn them off. By default, they're on, and it just tells you chapter name, chapter number, duration of the chapter, and the chapter name. These are edited. You can change the chapter name, and you can make it match the movie, like opening road, whatever the movie wants to call chapter 1. You can go look it up. You can enter them all that you want, and if you make a mistake, just reset, but it resets all the changes. So it's up to you. And if you want to see what that looks like, what those chapters look like, it looks like this. Here on the bottom of my player, these little ticks are the chapters. Chapter 5, 6, blah, blah, blah. That's what this says. And if you put names in there, it will show up. But that takes so much time, and ain't nobody got time for that. Advanced. This only shows up from the video tab when you click that check mark. If you uncheck it, it goes away. So you're going to optimize the video. All you got to do in here is this default 3, change to 4. Boom. Those are my settings. And after that, you can save your settings. Oh yeah, that's a big one. Call it whatever you want to call it. Call it like it is. Not lie, like it is. Racist. And max for this drop down, you want to do the current source max size. and that's pretty much matches this source right here. It's 720 by 480. And every time you put in DVD, it has the same resolution for the source. And then you've done all your changes, all your settings. You don't want to go through them again. Just click, make sure that box is checked. And it will save all the settings you just did. Let's say you want to go back to, jump over to normal and change the settings. You want to go back to one you just made, and there it is. The only thing I will go, every time you put the new DVD, I will only check, I'll just quickly glance through the tabs and make sure they are what you want, and just make sure audio is what you want, because every track is different audio tracks. And look at the subtitles, because not every track, every DVD has the same subtitles. So just look at those two, and you should be good. And that's it. And just click start. You'll do your burn, and that's it for my settings. So you can pause the video. You can click the link on the side of my video, because I know you probably see one over there. Because all I'm going to talk about now is briefly talk about the file sizes and the difference in them, and how long it takes. Depends on your computer, depends how long they will burn for. If you're like on a laptop, it's probably going to take you a while. On a desktop, it might be quicker. Depends on your CPU. On my CPU, I'm running a quad core. 4 cores. These are my 4 CPUs right here, these color ones. And when I burn a DVD, all 4 of them are at 100% usage, and temperature rises. So if you're on a laptop, you can quickly reach your CPU like max temperature quick. So just make sure you don't put on a pillow, you don't put on a blanket, put on the table, make sure it has good airflow, keep cool. If you're using a desktop and you haven't done nothing to it, it should be good, it shouldn't overheat, not have no problems. Just go keep it stuff cool. Over here, I quickly did 4 videos just so you can see different file sizes and how long they took me to make them. This one was a normal setting. For some reason, these are huge files. Normally, they don't burn this big. I don't know why. It must have to do with having Pegasus and Chimera in the movie. Freaking huge beast. Takes a lot of space. But just as a comparison, here's when I burned my copy of Batman, The Dark Knight Rises. It's almost 3 hours long, and its size is only just under 1 gig, like 9.5 megs. So yeah, it's like twice the length of this movie. But for some reason, I don't know, you get those weird DVDs sometimes. It must be, I want to say it's because of Pegasus. Pegasus is cool. Needs extra room for its wingspan. But yeah, this was done at the normal setting. I didn't touch any of the settings. It's burned at normal. It's burned at 1.6 gigs. File size 1.54. Whatever. That's just how it reads it. File size is 1.6 gigs. Now I went through and I showed you the filters with detelesign and decomb. With only those set to default and everything else to normal, it burned at 1.6 to 1.6 gigs again. So it's not a huge difference. So you can use those. It doesn't make a big impact on your file size. It will just take a little bit longer. That's all you gotta take into account for the time. This is extra work for it to do, and so burn will take a little longer than normal. This one I just barely did because I was curious about changing this picture source. I did loose. Oops. Okay, I did 200. I did resolution 700 loose, and that's all I changed. And of course, I kept the filter stat. Because when you change the resolution, you change the actual file size. And so I wouldn't go too far if you're concerned about file size, but you see here, it dropped it down to 1.5. And this last one, this is my straight up settings. I use strict settings there, my filters, my audio, I did both. That takes up extra space. I did all my subtitles. I like to have a full file, and that burned at 2.7. And then again, my other video wasn't past 1 gig. It must have something to do with this one. And let me quickly show you how long it took to burn. Like at normal settings, I started my burn at 1807, which is like 607. From 607 to 621 is how long it took. So not too bad, like 20 minutes. Under 20 minutes. And again, it all depends on your computer. At my highest setting, I keep clicking that. Let's start this one at 11:53, and it finished at 13:03. Oh yeah, I remember why. That one did take super long. I was doing other stuff on my computer. But the more settings you do, the longer it's going to take. The smaller file, the less things you change, it'll save you more time. And I think that's it.